What is going on, everyone? Today we have the RTX 5070. This is the AORUS Master version. We're going to be taking a look in Hell is Us at 1440 and 4K resolution. Going to be going through all the different settings, seeing what you can expect from this card. And of course, we are pairing it today with the 9800X3D, and we're not overclocking anything. If you're new here, please subscribe. If you're not, welcome back. Let's jump into the game. All right, folks, here we are at low settings. We are in Hell is Us. This is just the very beginning. I jumped back to this section because it's a pretty good test area, and you know, the point that I'm at in the game now is just not a good test area. So this is actually a pretty good spot to go ahead and start this test. We're at 133, 132 FPS here at low settings. We're just on DLAA, so no upscaling at all. Let's just jump over and get through this rather systematically. I like to put it that way. I'm not in a rush, but you know, I don't want to waste time. All right, so let's go medium DLAA, no upscaling. All right, that drops us down to about 99 FPS. Now, we were on a 5060 Ti, and we were able to get a pretty nice experience that way. There's a little stutter there. But I'm hoping that since we didn't exceed the VRAM available on the 5070, which is 12 gigs, that we should be okay and get a little bit better experience on this 5070 tonight. All right, so that's 100 FPS, and I'll go ahead and link that video up there if you care to check it out. That's the 5060 Ti that I did earlier today. Let's just jump up to high. So this is high, all natural pixels, 79 FPS, so that's kind of nice. 80 FPS. This is kind of where the 5060 started to struggle a little bit to stay above 60. As we can see right here, we're not having that problem on the 5070 at all. And our VRAM allocation is very low. It's 7.7, which is a good thing to see. So yeah, let's just keep on going around here. Just kind of run around a little bit until we get to the 4K section. I am going to save all the frame generation stuff for the end because you have to restart, and it's easier just to restart all at one time. So yeah, we're at 70 FPS here. This is actually looking pretty good so far. Let's jump up to that very high setting. Of course, we are going to kick on DLSS when we need it, not just automatically. All right, and looks like 46, 45 FPS is about where I would say, you know, for this card at least, I would go ahead and kick on that DLSS here. So let's go ahead and do that because we have about 45 FPS, and I'm just really trying to make sure that we stay above like 55. 60, of course, is perfect. Honestly, it's playable right here at this particular setting, even if you did some frame generation. Because 45, 46 FPS on a game like this honestly feels just fine. You even get a little better frames up here on the mountain. But let's just jump over and turn on some of that DLSS. Let's see what Ultra does first. This is Ultra, straight DLAA, all natural pixels, no upscaling. All right, so 39 FPS here. All right, so once you get to this point, I'm pretty sure you're going to need some DLSS. Now, I did want to cover, go back one to very high and then turn on some DLSS quality just to make sure we cover that. So that gives us a little bit of a bump, not too much, up to about 50. And this is kind of what I experienced with the 5060 Ti review was that the DLSS just really doesn't make like a whole huge amount of difference. 46 FPS here, almost 50. You kind of have to go to performance to get much to, you know, kind of shake loose for you. But let's just go down here and go through all the different settings. We'll go all the way down to performance here on this setting. So let's just see what that does for us. That gives us 58 FPS here. So very high with almost 60. Call it 60. I mean, that's a pretty good experience, especially when you throw in some frame generation because you've got the VRAM to do it. You're at 8.4 gigs of allocation on 6.6 gigs of used. VRAM is not an obstacle for this title, for this card rather. The game actually doesn't gobble up VRAM near as much as I've seen in some of these more recent games. But yeah, this is a nice experience here. You're not going through 12 gigs of VRAM, so that's the main concern with a 5070. But it is significantly more powerful than, say, a 5060 or even a 5060 Ti. All right, so let's just keep on going. So we can kind of establish that we can get 60 at very high if we use the balanced preset. Let's go up to performance. See what that does? Okay, that's much better. It gives us about 70 FPS here. Still nice and sharp. I think it looks really good. You know, this is of course 1440p. We still have 4K to test out, so we'll just see what that, you know, kind of what that does. Now, Ultra on this game be Ultra in. I mean, it is very intensive. I've never seen a game Ultra as much as this thing does. So let's just jump over there and check out the Ultra settings. Here, let's go up here. And of course, come down here and go to that quality DLSS. Now that gives you 45 FPS on 1440p. So, you know, Ultra is very Ultra. Right, so we got 45, 46 FPS here, 8.7 gigs of allocated VRAM, looking like 6.8 of used. This game should hold up pretty well in 4K, which is what we'll jump to next. But, you know, I just wanted to make sure that we kind of covered all of our bases here, what you can expect for 1440p. Because at the end of the day, the 5070 is a strong 1440p card, mainly due to that VRAM limitation. But, you know, it does really shine at 1440p, in my opinion. So we're just going to jump over to the next level of DLSS and see what that does for us. We are on the Ultra setting still. Let's go down to balanced, see if that improves things. We're at 52, 51 FPS here. So this looks like a very nice FPS to frame generate from. And, you know, for the most part, though, I mean, everything looks like it's really smooth. This game has so far been extremely fun. I've played about 2 hours into it. I do recommend it. Just, it's fun. It's a good game. So far, it's run really well. And, yeah, it's all around, I think I'm going to have a pretty good time with it. All right, so, yeah, let's just jump on down and go to that next level of DLSS. And then we'll jump over to 4K and see how painful that is. So performance DLSS here, that gives you a nice frame rate. That gives you up to 74 FPS. 77, almost 80. There it is, 81. Up here you get a little bit better frames. But let's just go on down the mountain and check out what we can do on 4K, because that's going to really test this card out. All right, so let's just jump over here and set that to 4K resolution. All right, go ahead and apply it. Want to keep these changes? Yes. All right, so let's come back down to low and go through all of it again, because we want to be as thorough as possible. So this is DLAA low 4K, and we are at 55 FPS. Now this game does do some weird stuff. I'm going to do one thing to see if it will actually kind of like, there we go. Yeah, see, it went way up. So low to medium, it goes up. For some reason, it won't go to low right away. You have to go to medium first, then to low. All right, weird quirk. Just wanted to kind of call that out. I noticed it on my other video too. All right, so yeah, it looks like 135 FPS here, all natural frames, no upscaling, no frame generation, and we are at 130 FPS here. So looking pretty good. The game actually looked quite nice at low even. I mean, it doesn't look like you're running a game at low settings. All right, so here we are with medium, and we're at 92, 98, 99 FPS. And man, 4K looks really good. I'm on a natural, you know, all natural 4K panel here. And damn, native 4K is just really next level now on some of these games with the details that they have. I'm addicted, pretty addicted to a 4K panel. All right, so 100 FPS, 103, 105. All right, let's just keep on going and see kind of where we need to help it out with some DLSS. So go up to high. Still looking really good at high. And 75 FPS is quite nice. And of course, this is a beautiful game no matter what setting you have. I don't want to scare anyone away from using low or medium even, because truthfully, it looks great no matter what setting you have. It's really kind of a testament to you know, these little layers that I go through. Now, whenever I go up to very high and ultra, it be ultra, and that's what I like to say. It is really hard to run. So let's just go over to the next level. So go to very high, and see that drops us down quite a bit, about 24, 25 FPS here. All right, so 44 FPS just on very high. We're not even at ultra yet, but we are at 8.5 gigs of allocation, and our VRAM usage is at 6.9. So we're going to have plenty to do some frame generation and get that nice get that frame rate back up to a nice level. Just going to keep running up here and go up to that ultra setting. And we're going to see what that does. All right, so ultra, of course, all natural, no upscaling, DLAA only. And we're at 40 FPS. Now, this is not a game that necessarily requires 60. So if you did have this card and you wanted to play at 4K, you totally could, because we haven't done any upscaling yet and we have not done any frame generation yet. All right, so let's just keep on going up this mountain, and then I'm going to drop back down to that very high setting because we kind of got a pretty big hit there. And I want to see what some quality DLSS can do. All right, so that gets us over 60 at very high, which is quite nice. All right, so 61 FPS, 59, it's all kind of the same to me. Right there around 60, this is a good way to play it too. Very high quality DLSS, and you get a nice high frame rate, especially for this type of game. All right, so let's just keep going and drop down to that next level of balanced. All right, so balanced brings you up a little bit, you know, I would call it comfortably above 65 with balanced. 63, 62. Oh, it almost, oh, there it is, 59. It made a liar out of me. I said comfortably above, but it's not. It's 59 here and there. All right, that's okay. Still really good, smooth experience. One thing about this game is, even though the frames might not be that high, it is an incredibly smooth frame time graph, which makes the game feel like it's running way better than it really probably is. There's nothing worse than a high frame rate, but a bunch of hitches and glitches and all that kind of stuff. But whenever you've got a slightly lower frame rate, I actually prefer it if the frame time graph is smooth. I would take a 40 or 50 FPS experience all day long over something that's like 70 or 80 with a bunch of, you know, hitches and, you know, kind of crap going on like that. You know, I mean, this game does run very smooth. I mean, I will say, I've played enough of it to tell you there's no glaring issues at all. It is nice and smooth. Everything loads in just fine. There's no kind of like weird anomalies or strange stuff visually. It runs really stinking well. So, yeah, let's just keep on going and jump over to, let's see, what's the next level we got to test out. Let's see, we are at balance. Let's go to performance, and then I'll go up to ultra and see how far we can get there. Yeah, that gives you 80 FPS. So, all right, that's enough of that. Let's jump over here, and let's see what ultra can do. So ultra settings, and let's come up here, bring this back up to quality, and that's going to give us 45 FPS. And that will be enough to frame gen from, I believe, because this game does run that smooth. I mean, like I was saying, it's a nicely running title. Nothing really sticks out as like broken or bad, or there's no hitches. You know, I haven't played the whole thing. I've played about an hour and a half of it so far, and yeah, it's super smooth. All right, so let's just keep going. See if we can get this up. Now that we're on ultra, let's see what we can do as far as let's see, going up to balanced DLSS here. That'll give us 53 FPS, and that VRAM usage creeped up a tiny bit, just at 9 though. It's okay. We got 12 on this card, so we'll be all right, I think. I haven't seen it creep above 9.5 on any of my other tests or as I've played it, so I think we'll be all right. But 58 FPS, yeah, 60, 64, 65. Let's just keep on going and jump down to that very next level and see what we can do there. All right, so we're on balance. Let's go to performance. So performance DLSS with a 4K resolution at 74 FPS, 75 FPS. Looks super good. I mean, you know, we're not really, I'm not going to complain about performance at 4K for sure, because it looks really nice. Everything's like still very sharp. There's nothing really that's like blurry or, you know, crappy looking or at all. You can play it like this, no problem. Performance DLSS at 4K is like really a sweet spot in my opinion. And it gave you a nice little break on your VRAM. You're at 8.7 gigs instead of 9. So got plenty again to frame gen from. So let's jump back down here. And I want to go into the frame generation segment. So I'm going to go back to 1440, bring that back over, yes, and then we are going to start at high, and then we're going to come down here, and we're going to turn on the frame generation. Now it's going to want me to restart, which is fine. I'll go ahead and do that. We got to do it from the menu actually. So we're going to do that from the menu, and then I'll be right back. All right, we are back in it. We are at 1440p again. We are on the high preset with 2x frame generation and quality DLSS, and we have 119 FPS. Check out the PCL though; it's nice. It is at 36 milliseconds. I always want to say FPS there. It's 36 milliseconds, which anything under 50 is in my book just fine. We're at 106, 105 FPS here. This is just 2x. You can go all the way up to 4x, but let's just jump over and go to very high. Leave everything else alone. Quality DLSS with a 2x frame generation. And we're right at that 50 milliseconds. Looks really good. 81 FPS here. Your VRAM allocation is 9.3. Using a little bit of that VRAM to do the frame generation, but nothing bad at all. Totally playable. Feels really good. But yeah, for the most part, it's going to be a nice experience, I think. Let's just jump over again to the ultra setting. Leave everything else alone. Again, I'm just going to double check everything. So we are down here, we're at quality with 2x frame gen, and that gives us 69 FPS. Looks really good. We're at 63 or so milliseconds of latency, and that's fine. Everything still feels really good. I am playing this on a controller, so if you're on a controller, you're not going to perceive that latency near as much as you are on a mouse and keyboard. And even then, it's the type of game, in my opinion, that matters most. A game like Doom or a first-person competitive shooter, of course you don't want latency. But if you're playing a game like this, where you're a dude walking through the woods, it's not that big a deal to me. So take that for what it's worth. That's just my personal opinion on the matter. Everyone kind of freaks out about latency and freaks out about having 60 FPS or bust, but I'm not that way. I think as long as it is playable to you, that's how you should play it. All right, so here we go. Let's see what we can do. All right, so we're at ultra settings, and let's come down here, and I think that on balanced, it looked just fine at 1440. And that will give you up to an 89 FPS experience. This is just 2x frame gen, and that will help out your latency a little bit if you're one of the people who do worry about that. It drops it down to about 46 because you're raising that background FPS. The real FPS is going up when you go down on that DLSS to balanced. All right, so 95 FPS here. Looking pretty good. If I was at 1440p, this is probably how I would play it. I think that having ultra is, of course, nice. It's the best you can do. Balance with a 2x frame gen is just enough. Now, I will show you what 4x looks like. I mean, it kind of looks the same to me, to be honest with you. Your latency is not going to move because, again, that's based on your real FPS, not your fake FPS. The real FPS determines all that kind of stuff way more than fake FPS do, which is your frame generation. But, yeah, man, I'm at ultra settings here with 166 FPS. Frame gen is an absolute, just total badass, technology for games like this. I mean, again, it depends on the type of game, but I play a lot of games like this, these story-based games. I'm not super into the competitive stuff. First-person shooters, that's kind of a middle ground for me. I like to have a nice snappy frame rate with a mouse and keyboard, but for a game like this would be perfect. There's nothing wrong in the world with this to me. So let's just jump over and see what we can do. Just kind of shooting from the hip, like I like to say, at 4K. We're going to go down to very high, and we're going to kind of start it off how we did earlier. Going to go up that quality, go down to 2x. So this is 2x frame generation, quality DLSS, and what's our latency at? 52. All right, so you can throw frame generation at 4K and get away with quality DLSS, frame gen 2x, and run very high, no problem. All right, so let's see what ultra does. All right, so ultra, we're going to leave everything else the same. Quality DLSS, 2x frame gen, and that will give us 68 FPS. Now, I can already tell our latency is a little higher because our background FPS, our real FPS, is low. So our PCL is about 52 milliseconds, but that's up here on the mountain. It tends to run a little better up here. If we go down here, it'll probably go up a hair. But I would probably, since I'm at 4K, go down to performance, because you're upscaling at performance at 4K from 1080p. And when you're upscaling from 1080p, you actually get a much sharper image than you would from like upscaling at performance from 1440, because you're going down to like 720 at that point. But since you are at 4K, you can go a little bit more aggressively with your DLSS. So right here at performance DLSS, I'm at 101 FPS with a 2x frame gen. And this game is super playable, folks. I mean, you're at 44 milliseconds of latency, which is under the 50 that I kind of shoot for. And yeah, there's no ghosting. There's nothing weird going on here. This game is totally playable at 4K. Just use your frame gen, use a little bit of DLSS, you'll be all right. All right, so that's been a look at Hell is Us with the RTX 5070. And if you like this kind of content, of course, please, I would love to have you subscribe. If you have already subscribed, thanks for coming back and hanging out. And with that said, I will see you guys in the very next video. Peace.